Hello everyone, this is Nilakshi from Vistaslearning, and as you all know that I am taking your social. Okay, so my dear children, I have already completed 2 chapters of your history. Okay, so today I am going to start with chapter 4. Okay, and before starting chapter 4, let me first say that what is Vistaslearning? So Vistaslearning is an e-learning platform that provides quality education for all. Okay, my dear children, now let's start with the chapter. Okay, so this chapter is about ancient civilization. Okay, yes, so there are different ancient civilizations in this chapter. Okay, so today I'm going to start with only one civilization. Okay, now let's see what is that civilization. So that civilization is Egyptian civilization. Okay, so before starting, let's have some sort of introduction. So food, water, air are important for any life to survive. Of course, we need food, we need water, we need air to survive. Okay, otherwise we will die. Similarly, shelter and clothing are also basic necessity for mankind. Yes, shelter is very important because we have to protect ourselves from heat, from cold, from rain, from wind. Okay, so everything, so we need shelter. And also clothing also is very important, okay, for mankind. So like we also need to wear clothes for different purposes, and also for protection from heat, from then cold and all, etc. Okay, all right. We get water and favorable weather condition on the banks of the river for leading a life. Okay, so because of water, because actually most of the civilization, it started near to the banks of river. Okay, it started near to the banks of water bodies. Why? Because people used to get water. Okay, and also the weather conditions was very nice, very favorable weather conditions. Okay, so that is why. And also one more thing, near to water banks, the air, the soil is very fertile, which is suitable for agriculture. So therefore, civilization, it emerged near to water bodies or banks of rivers. So the prehistoric people settled on the banks of river, and later, so people, they started to they started to settle down near to the banks of river, and later on civilization started. Okay, hence the river banks became the hub of ancient civilization. So because of that, because of river banks, because of all these conditions, civilization started near to river banks. Okay, Egyptian civilization, the banks of river Nile. Okay, then Mesopotamian civilization on the banks of Euphrates and Tigris, Chinese civilization on the banks of Huanghe, Yangtze and Sikiang, Harappa civilization on the banks of Indus came into existence. Okay, so here my dear children, we are going to read about 4 major ancient civilization. Number 1, it is Egyptian. Number 2, it is Mesopotamian. Then number 3, Chinese. And number 4, it is Harappa civilization. But today I'll be only focusing on Egyptian civilization, the first civilization. Okay, so just remember one thing, that all these civilization started near to rivers or near to the banks of rivers because of all those conditions that we have already discussed right now. All right. Now let's start with Egyptian civilization. Okay, so Egypt is the first civilization of the ancient world. So first civilization is Egypt. Okay, this civilization took birth on the banks of river Nile. Okay, this civilization started on the banks of river Nile. Nile is regarded as the longest river in the world. Okay, I am pretty sure that you all must have heard about river Nile. Okay, and also you all know that Nile River is the longest river in the world. I am sure that you all must have read in GK books and all, right? Okay, so Egyptian civilization started near to the longest river of the world, that is river Nile. It is a major north flowing river in Africa which joins the Mediterranean Sea. Okay. If the Nile had not flown through Egypt, it would have been a desert. So, Nile have saved Egypt, okay? If Nile would not have flown through Egypt, then the place would have been turned into a desert or something like that. So, it would have been a very dry place, okay? Now, let's learn about the political history of Egyptian civilization. Let's learn about the rulers. Let's learn about the government, okay? The governance pattern and all. Let's see. Okay. Egypt saw the rise of political dynasties about 5,400 years ago. So, the political scenario started in Egypt of about 5,400 years ago from now. Okay? Yes. The king of Egypt were, just remember the term, the king of Egypt were known as Pharaohs. Okay? Menes was the first Pharaohs. So, Menes was the first Pharaohs. That means he was the first king. Okay? His capital was Memphis. So, in Egypt, the first king was Menes and his capital was Memphis. Among all the pharaohs after Menes, Khufu, Amenhotep and Thamos were prominent. So, after Menes, Khufu, Amenhotep and Thamos were prominent rulers or prominent kings. The largest pyramid of Giza is called the Great Pyramid of Khufu, which is built by Khufu. Okay, so Khufu, the second king, okay, he built a pyramid, okay, that is the largest pyramid of Giza. Giza is a place in Egypt and is called the Great Pyramid of Khufu. Amenhotep expanded his kingdom and established an empire by his conquest. So, Amenhotep, he was also a great ruler, okay? He fought many wars and all, and he expanded his kingdom. He expanded his, territory. Okay, so this is an image of the pyramid Giza, okay? Yes. Then, Thutmose I was the greatest conqueror among all the later kings. Okay, so Thutmose I was one of the greatest conqueror, was one of the greatest ruler, okay, of the later, kings of Egyptian civilization. Then his daughter, please remember, his daughter Hatshepsut came to power after him and came to be known as the first empress of the world. Okay, so she was the first empress of the world. So just imagine the position of women of Egypt. It must be very good. Okay, we will learn about that in the later part of this, topic. Finally, after 2,300 years ago, Alexander the Great conquered Egypt. So, have you all heard about Alexander the Great? I am pretty sure you all must have. So, later on, finally after 2,300 years ago, okay, as Alexander the Great, he conquered Egypt. Okay, he occupied Egypt. His military general, whose military general? Alexander the Great's military general, Ptolemy, declared himself as the king of Egypt. Okay, so he declared himself as the king of Egypt and established his own dynasty. And the name of his dynasty, what was the name of the dynasty? It was Ptolemaic dynasty. Yeah. The popular queen Cleopatra was the last ruler of this dynasty. So Cleopatra also belonged to this dynasty. Okay, so she was the last ruler of this dynasty. Eventually, Egypt became the province of Rome. So eventually, Egypt became a province or a part of Rome. Okay, all right. Now let us focus on some of the contribution of Egyptian civilization. Okay, we will see some, some of their architecture. We will see social life, okay, of Egyptian civilization. Okay, wheat and barley were the food crops of the people of Egypt. So the main, crop that they used to cultivate was wheat and barley. Okay. The water of Nile was used for agriculture, of course. So this civilization emerged near to river Nile. So definitely they will use river Nile water for agriculture, right? Yeah. The condition of slaves was very pathetic. Yes, the condition of slaves was very pathetic. It was very bad. Okay, why it was very bad? We will see. The large pyramids were possible because of these slaves. So these slaves were forced to make pyramids and all. Okay, so what is the purpose of pyramids? Basically, Egyptians, they used to believe life after death. Okay, so they used to believe afterlife. Okay, so that means life after death. So therefore, these pyramids were supposed to be like the home for the tombs of rulers. Okay, they were supposed to be the home of the tombs of the rulers, Egyptian rulers. Women were given important status in the society. Of course, the status of women was very good. Yeah, so the first empress, of the world was, she belonged to Egyptian civilization. So definitely the status was good for women. The people of Egypt believe in life after death. Yes. So they preserved the dead bodies. So they used to preserve the dead bodies of great rulers, okay, Egyptian rulers and all. They preserved dead body, and those dead bodies were known as mummy, okay. So here is an image of an ancient Egyptian mummy. In ancient Egypt, each city had its own guardian goddess. So every city has their own goddess and all, okay. They used to, believe those things. They used to believe those supernatural goddesses and all, okay. They also used to worship sun and rivers. So sun and rivers were considered and worshipped as gods. So they used to, they used to worship nature. Okay, so they used to worship sun, they used to worship river, and sun, rivers were considered to be their gods. Okay, the Egyptian script is called, please remember the term, the Egyptian script is called hieroglyphics. So Egyptian script is called hieroglyphics, which means sacred writing. Okay, they used to write on papyrus grass growing on river Nile. So the people, they used to write on grasses, okay, because earlier paper and all were not available, right? Okay, so people used to People used to, use grasses and all for writing purposes. Okay, so they used to write on papyrus grass growing on river Nile. They had enormous knowledge on geometry. Okay, so Egyptians, they had knowledge on geometry. So there are many Egyptians, they were like very great mathematicians, okay, which was used in building large pyramids. So because of the geometrical knowledge, they used to build proper and large pyramids. The large statue of Sphinx is the most attractive Egyptian architecture. Okay, so there is a large statue of Sphinx that is the most attractive Egyptian architecture. Now we'll just focus that what is Sphinx. The Sphinx is an animal with the body of a lion and the head of a man. Okay, all right. So that's all, my dear children. I have completed the Egyptian civilization, that is the first civilization. So I hope it was helpful for you all. So till then, please stay connected with me. In the next class, I'm going to start with different civilizations, okay? And please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, that is Vistaslearning. And thank you, my dear children. Please stay safe. Bye-bye.